Yes, and that is the nuclear membrane. And in that respect, also other organelles like the chloroplasts and the mitochondria that we had looked into also possess membranes. That now this aspect of the cell membrane, of course, is going to display its characteristic in this specific other organelles that contain the membrane that I've talked about, in that it's going to act as a boundary between the inner part of the cell or the cell organelle and the outer part of the cell organelle in exchange of materials. Now, specifically for the cell membrane, I've said that it's made up of two protein layers, and this is the first one that I'm talking about that is basically adjacent to the intracellular part, and then there's another one that is adjacent, of course, to the intracellular part, which is the inner part of the cell. And of course, we have said that these particular layers, which are the two protein layers, are sandwiched between these specific two strands that we have talked about. Now, there's this concept I've written here that this particular set of the cell membrane is hydrophobic, the hydrophobic tail. Now, this aspect of this phospholipid layer is made up of the tails and the head, which basically are shown using this expounded structure below here. Now this head or this tail or rather is referred to as hydrophobic tail. Hydrophobic means that this tail has a dislike, as I can use that term loosely, has a dislike for water. The concept of the prefix hydro means water. So therefore the relationship between this specific head and water can be able to be illustrated using, or maybe it can be able to be shown using this specific term, hydrophobic tail. And then we have a hydrophilic head. So this is the head and tail. So therefore, those specific terms are used to refer to that characteristic for the head and tail respectively. So, which means, of course, this one has a liking for water, whereas this one is rebellious against water. Now, in order for us to understand some of these specific functions of the cell membrane that we have talked about, I'm going to use the second illustration, of course, in trying to show how this cell membrane, of course, can be able to enhance exchange of materials into and outside the cell. We're going to see that some of the materials are going to be barred from, of course, passing through the cell membrane. And for specific functions, of course, that is also going to facilitate its biological role. So in this case, we're going to see that this is basically the shape that I'm encircling here is a protein part. And this is a protein part also. We're going to see that is basically regarded to as a protein channel. That's a channel means that something that can allow passage of materials. Now in this specific set of the cell membrane, this